Hi, welcome to IAS Factors Current Affairs Live Class number 3 for 2025 UPSC examination with me Arjun R. Shankar. We are live from the IAS Factor studio, and before that we just go small introduction you must be knowing. My name is Arjun R. Shankar. I am the director of IAS Factor. I've been a UPSC mentor for the last 14 years, and you can read the rest of the things. So before we move on, in the meanwhile, do subscribe IAS Factor app from the Play Store and watch the classes, and let's continue. I've brought in some very important content, especially that can be useful for your prelims as well as mains. We'll check that one by one. You know the format, right? We'll cover a topic, and after the topic we'll discuss a mains question that you are supposed to write and practice. Okay, so bringing in the important content here, let's go to the first important topic. As recently, it's a hypothetical image. You know that when the planets, Saturn has got a ring. And did Earth once have rings like Saturn? It is a very hypothetical thing that we can discuss here. So if at all Earth was having a Saturn-like ring around the Earth, what would have been the possible implication Earth could have faced? So it's just a hypothetical thing. It is actually making importance in the current affairs. So I thought we'll start off with this question from the space. Let's take a look at this and maybe explore the important theories right now. So while you know that, take a look at this picture. You know that Earth does not have a ring. And how do you think that it is said that even years before, maybe years and years before, it is a theory that Earth must have this thing called rings. So there is evidence suggesting that, and one theory is the asteroid theory. So you know what you mean by an asteroid. It is said that once an asteroid could have impacted the Earth, and when this impact happened, numerous debris, the things must have spread like this, forming a ring. So this is one such theory which they say it's the most plausible theory. It may not be absolutely correct, but still they believe it can be a small theory. So this is how the asteroid theory is one reason how a ring could have been formed. Next is the theory of moon's formation. That is a moon formation, which they say a Mars-like object collided with the Earth. A Mars-like subject collided with the Earth. So it was actually something like this. It was actually colliding with the Earth. And this collision emitted large number of debris. Debris means particles. This particle eventually came and created this ring-like thing. All these are theories. Before the formation of moon, before the formation of moon, it became like this. So we have absolutely no idea, but there are some theories which say that the debris particle must have created this ring. Is one such theory which they say can be a reason for that. So just take a hypothetical situation. What if Earth really had that ring? How would that affect the Earth? How would that affect the geography of the world? Maybe hypothetically, just understand that, because it can be a question for the prelims also. What if the Earth had rings? Which of the following might have been a geographical outcome? So maybe let's take a close look at that. And here we go, and let's understand the important concept. It would be most visible at the equator. If you had the ring, definitely it would be passing through the equator, appearing as a bright band across the sky. It will be like a band. And obviously, rings means it will be made up of dust, ice, and rock particles will be another important thing. It will be made up of rock particles. And its appearance would change throughout the day and seasons due to the Earth rotation and tilt. So again, the ring's appearance can also change because of the seasons, rotation of the tilt of the Earth. Okay, this is also one of the important things that you can note here. And what about the next thing? Maybe you can understand the next important content. The ring could have blocked sunlight, leading to cooler temperatures, especially in the winter. So sunlight, if you have a ring, the sunlight would have been blocked. That is a big issue. And the ring's gravity would have interacted with the moon's potential, causing extreme tides. So you can have winters is number one. It can relate with the moon and can create more extreme tides is another point number two. And it would have reflected sunlight, creating a dazzling display in night sky. Just like we say aurora, it can have a dazzling view in the night sky. But eventually, if Earth had this ring, Earth has a gravity. The Earth's gravity would have pulled the ring particles towards the planet, causing them to fall to the surface or burn up in the atmosphere. This is most likely to happen. If at all the earth had this ring, eventually the gravity will pull it towards the surface and it will either be destroyed or it will burn up in the atmosphere. So that is the theoretical stuff that you should be looking forward for. If earth had a ring, this would have happened. So I thought it's just an interesting topic, but it is not a light topic, but the impact of the ring, how the geographical impact is something that you should be knowing. So I thought we'll start off with this wonderful topic and let's move on to the second and another important topic of the day. We'll start off with a country and something in the news. We'll start off with this because you must have seen in the prelims, they ask you about countries in the news and especially the bordering places. And now this time the country is East Timor. Let's know some geography and the map because you know the current affairs was Pope Francis visited East Timor because there has been some recent issues and all-time issues regarding some abuses that come from various places. And the Pope makes sure that he goes, visits the places and solves the problem. So this time the news is East Timor. So where is this East Timor located? If you get a question for prelims, which of the following are, what is the capital of East Timor? Where is it located? Where is it sharing the border? Let's find out all such things in this content. Here we go. Let's understand. Take a look at this. So you must have got an idea about the map itself, seeing with this picture. East Timor is officially called the Timor-Leste. East Timor is a Southeast nation. Very important. It is a Southeast Asian nation and occupying the eastern half of the Timor. So imagine that Timor is something like this. It is actually a Southeast country and you can just take a look at this. Where is India? India is located here and towards near to east, very close to Indian Ocean, you can see Tropic of Capricorn is moving here. So above equator, so it's between the Tropic of Capricorn and the equator. Please get this idea. It is between the equator and the Tropic of Capricorn. You can see East Timor. This is the small island that you can see here. So you must have got this idea and let's closely understand what are some of the other important points too. So here we go and let's understand. Okay, take a look at this map here. This whole small island that I have created in red is what is called as the Timor Islands. But you can see on the top side, you can see the islands of Indonesia. But also understand this whole island, the western part of that is Indonesia. So the Indonesia is even seen here, but the western part of the Timor Islands is by Indonesia itself. And the Timor refers to the entire island. This is something that we have read, this entire island. And West Timor belongs to Indonesia. And East Timor or the Timor-Leste is an independent country since 2002, very important. It's a very recent country. You cannot say that just 22 years plus independence. And it's a sovereign country while East Timor, this is Indonesia, this is the West Timor, and this is East Timor. And this East Timor is a part of, it's a separate country. And you should know that East Timor was actually a Portuguese colony until 1975. Then briefly independent before occupied by Indonesia. Previously it was occupied by Indonesia, previously by Portugal, and then they left it. So this is something that you can see in this and take a close look at this. You can easily understand Indonesia is the western part, East Timor is Timor-Leste. So I think this area is also part of Indonesia. Have a good idea on that. So I think this is also clear. Take a look at the map. And you can also take a look at another map where you can easily mark. And one more important thing that you should know, the capital city here, you can actually draw your attention. Just like the capital of India is Delhi or Delhi, the East Timor's capital is also Delhi. It's not, India has the capital Delhi and this is Delhi. It's not Delhi, it's Delhi. So it's easy to remember, Delhi is the capital of the city. And let's move on to the other. And let's get some other important facts correct. Very important fact is that most Asian countries are situated in the northern hemisphere. You know that northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. While some parts of Southeast Asian countries like Indonesia and Malaysia extend up to southern hemisphere. Most of the Asian countries are in northern hemisphere, but some Southeast Asian countries like Indonesia and Malaysia extend up to the southern hemisphere. But you can see East Timor is situated northwest of Australia and is the only Asian nation to lie entirely within the southern hemisphere. Very, very important world geography question. You can get this option also. East Timor is the only country, which is Asian country, to lie entirely in southern hemisphere. Very, very important to be noted. And that is the reason why it is having distinct climate and seasonal pattern compared to other Asian countries. When you compare it with the other Asian countries, it has got a different climate, and that is the reason why. I think this point is also taken, and you can see Tetum and Portugal are the important languages of East Timor, and East Timor is located in Southeast Asia. You've already got this idea. So I think this is very important for your prelims. That is why we have spent some time on this question. I think let's move on to the other important topic. I'm sure, and you can take some of the other importance also. Let's understand some name of the ocean. Imagine that East Timor and near to Indonesia, you must have heard about the Banda Sea. It is the Banda Sea. East Timor shares a land border with Indonesia to the west, which divides, and East Timor is surrounded by Timor Sea to the south, and the Wetar Strait. Please remember, it is the Wetar Strait to the north. You can see the Wetar Strait. You can say the Wetar Strait is here, and the Ombai Strait to the northwest. The Ombai Strait. This is the Ombai Strait and the capital. So please remember all this concept. The Ombai Strait, the Wetar Strait, the Banda Sea. All of this is geographical question that can actually come from this area. Okay, fair enough. So that is something that we have discussed, and now I think let's quickly move on to the next important topic. Recently, everybody in the news and a lot of articles regarding the budget, everybody talked about a very important concept called a semiconductor industry. It is very, very important. It is said that without semiconductor industry, there will be no mobile phones, there will be no chips, there will be no semiconductor chip, there will be nothing. So semiconductor is the backbone of electronics industry. So, and how is India progressing on that? And recently, you know that construction of Tata Semiconductor unit in Assam has commenced, and it is also a very important. So semiconductor units are coming in India. That is why semiconductor mission is also popular. So in this session topic, I thought we'll understand what a semiconductor is all about. What are some of the important aspects? What exactly is semiconductor? If somebody asks you what is semiconductors, especially for the prelims questions like which of the following are correct regarding semiconductors, we need to have a very good clarity on that. Let's build that clarity. Let's build it, and here we go. To the first, let me go with the basic stuff, and I don't think this is a scientific thing. Many of people might not relate to it. Semiconductors are materials that have an electrical conductivity, point number one, between that of a conductor like metal and an insulator like rubber. This unique property allows them to control the flow of electricity, making them essential components in modern electronics. And some of the important semiconductor examples are silicon, which is the most important thing. You know that without silicon, electronic things, your mobile, your tablet, nothing works. And germanium and gallium arsenide. This can also be a question because they can ask you which of the following are semiconductors. So you get this right. Did you understand this? I think many of you might not have got this. It is having electrical conductivity that of a conductor and an insulator, like a metal and a rubber, which control the flow of electricity, making them essential. I'll actually explain it much more simply. I'll give you a wonderful story also, and I'll make it understand in a much more better manner. Here we go. Let's take a look at this picture. And I'm sure children like playing in the slides, and I'm sure you must have also done it in your childhood, and you still might be doing it with your kids or your brother's kids or somebody. If the kids are in your family, you must have taken them to park. Imagine this slide. Imagine a super smooth slide where anything you put on it just keeps sliding without ever slowing down. So you know that when you climb the slide, you go down effortlessly, uninterruptedly. This is basically what a semiconductor is for electricity. For electricity, in order to, it is as smooth as this. Without interruption, it goes like this. Just like the slide. So that is how when electricity flows through wires, when it flows through wires, there is some resistance, as you know. A bit like friction, and like on a slide. When you go down, you are not going because there is friction. This is resistance. This resistance causes electricity to be lost as heat. So, but that is a big problem. That is not a smooth flow. But in the case of semiconductor, when cooled to very low temperatures, when they are cooled to it has zero resistance. That means electricity can flow through it without like this, just like the slide. So when you cool it to lower temperatures, there is no resistance, unlike you have it in the wires. This process of smooth flowing is it's called as the superconductor, or it's called the superconductor. So that is why the basic concept is something very clear in this. And let's take a look at the other important aspects. So you can understand that this is what semiconductor does. So that's basically what a superconductor is for electricity. I hope this example is also very clear about what superconductors can actually do. Superconductors are basically this. And let's go to a very next important and besides that, you should know that superconductors have another cool trick. They can push away magnetic fields. This allows them to levitate magnets. Levitate magnets, leading to futuristic technologies like maglev train. You can take a look at this maglev train. Like they also have the superconducting stuff. So anyway, you can see that superconductivity is also very important, and this is how it works. And now let's move on to some of the important semiconductors that you should be knowing here. Definitely without silicon, it is very difficult. Germanium, Ge, selenium, gallium arsenide, indium phosphide, gallium nitride, silicon carbide, and cadmium telluride. See, all this thing, if you can remember all this thing, next time in the prelims question they are asking something, which of the following are semiconductors, you should be able to understand which of the following are. So that is why I've given semiconductor devices. You must have seen such devices in the electronic industries: diodes, capacitors, resistors, transistors, etc. So I think you know what is semiconducting, and I told you the importance of superconductivity also, what superconductivity does for electricity. So superconductivity is clear, and what are some of the semiconductor devices? I think this is also very clear. So now maybe let's go to the important concepts here. Semiconductors are the building blocks of modern electronics. They are the brain behind smartphones, cars, medical equipments, and countless number of devices that we use. So without semiconductors, technology will come to a halt. That is clear. And it is very crucial for the defense industry and critical infrastructure. So that is all something that you have to note here. All these important points are something that you have to know. And Indian government has also launched several semiconductor mission, and India also relies on semiconductors. So definitely having more semiconductor industries in India will actually boost its potential. So this is some of the important semiconductor concepts, and I've given you superconductivity on electricity. And now let's take a close look at the mains question here. Let's take a look at the mains question. India's ambition to become global semiconductor hub faces several challenges despite its potential advantages. Critically analyze these challenges and suggest measures to strengthen India's position in the semiconductor industry. So what does India have to do for this semiconductor industry? This is the mains question. As I always say, just reading this question will not solve anything. I am sure you must have read the mains question paper. It's you who have to, show your courage, show your determination to write down this question, find out. Only if you write, that will be beneficial for you. Okay, so let's move on to the next important area. Here we go. Who decides whether the site is a Ramsar site or not? So this is a very important area. Ramsar is all about wetlands. So you might be knowing about that. So I'm going to add a few more important things from the prelims perspective, especially regarding the MCQ questions. I've got a lot of details in this, which you should be definitely listening. Okay, here we go. What is a Ramsar site? So, in this, we'll have to find out, in detail find out what is a Ramsar site and what is the wetland. What is the concept of a wetland? So, you'll have to know what is the concept of this wetland. We'll have to know this. So, Ramsar sites are wetlands of international importance designated under, you can say they are actually, okay, one second. I think I've started the fireworks here. So let's go with the pen. Okay. I think there is a firework happening here. Sounds good. So Ramsar are wetland sites of international importance under Ramsar Convention, an intergovernmental treaty that provides the framework for national action and international cooperation. So basically understand, Ramsar is nothing but an important convention which protects wetlands. So what is the concept of wetlands here? You should also know what is the concept of wetlands here. Okay, so I think there is a small glitch here, so I'll just fix it off right now. Okay, so let's clear it off and yes. Who decides whether the site is a Ramsar or not? Maybe we'll just get it right at this time. If a wetland meets some of the important criteria, there is something called who decides that if, say, imagine there is a site called X. Who is deciding that this Ramsar site is a wetland? So always understand, Ramsar Convention is important. Apart from that, there is something called as the National Authority of the Contracting Party. Very, very important. If wetland meets, there are some important criterias, like 9 important criterias. If you believe that this criteria is actually, if any of the area, if X is actually fulfilling any of this criteria, then it can be a Ramsar site, and only when the National Authority of the Contracting Party, that is important, the National Authority of the Contracting Party decides that, okay, this thing called X is actually fulfilling one of the criteria of the 9 criteria, we'll make them a wetland. Okay, that is how a site is selected as a Ramsar site if it meets at least one of the 9 criteria established by the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands. So the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands, you can see the authority, the National Authority of the Contracting Party decides this. So that is it. They are the people who are deciding whether it is a Ramsar site or not. Is something that you must have got this now. Okay, so let's take a look at the next important content, and let's take quick points from here. Let's take quick points. Ramsar Convention is called, it's actually a place in Iran. So you can say in 1971, it was adopted in 1971 and it came in 1975. Very important. Quick points can be asked in the prelims examination. It is officially called the Convention on Wetlands of International Importance, especially as waterfowl habitat. So this is the Convention of Wetlands. This is called Ramsar Convention and Ramsar. So why is it actually created? To conserve wetlands, to promote wiser use of wetlands, and to have international cooperation on wetlands. So you should know what is this wetland. Everybody knows about wetland. Wetland is important. When you say wetland, you know Ramsar. But how many of you know what is a wetland? Very important for your prelims as well as your mains. Let's get this thing correct and let's go. And let's see what is basically a wetland. Here we can actually have an idea. What is a wetland? You can see this picture. It's very clear. A wetland is an area where the water covers the soil or is present at or near the surface of the soil all year or for varying periods of time during the year. So it is a wetland is an area where water covers the soil or is present near the surface. It should be covering or should be present in the surface. And wetlands, very important, they can be a prelims question. Wetlands are transitional areas between terrestrial and aquatic ecosystem where the water table is usually at or near the surface. And I'm sure you must have really seen this pictures like this. I'm sure you must have seen pictures like this where you can see it is the soil is covered with water or the entire surface you have water like this. All these are very good examples of wetlands. There are a lot of places where you can have this wetland, but you must be seeing there are thousands of places like this in India, but why not all of them are not wetlands? In India, there are only how many wetlands are there? As of now, we are discussing this in September 23. We used to have 82 wetlands, but now 3 wetlands are added, which we'll discuss. That has become 85. Why not 1,000? Some of the criteria have to be met according to the contracting party, National Authority of Contracting Party. So get an idea. It is something that covers with soil is covered with water. This is wetland. Okay, get this thing. And now let's discuss some of the important 9 criterias. What are the 9 criterias? One is it should be representative, rare, unique wetland, the wetland is good, it should be very rare or unique. Second, it supports vulnerable, endangered or critically endangered species. It should be definitely supporting this. It should be rare, a unique wetland, and it supports biodiversity. It should support plant, animal species, maintaining biological diversity. It should have this supporting biodiversity. That is one such important thing that they are suggesting here. Next is, take a look at this. The next is, you need to have, it should support plant, animal species at critical stage in the life cycle. That is a word. It should be in the critical stage. Then only you need the support here. And the fifth one is regularly supports 20,000 or more water birds. So that is also very good condition. Not everything. 20,000 birds plus. And it supports 1% of the individuals in a population of one species or subspecies. It should also support the individuals. 1% individual should be supported. And you should, supporting indigenous fish subspecies or families. So fish, etc. should also be a part of that, as another important caveat that they are actually striving here. And next is, you can take in, it should be also an important source of fishes, spawning ground, nursery or migration path of fishes can also be important. And it regularly supports 1% of the population of not normal species, but the non-avian animal species is also very important. So these are some of the important criteria that we just discussed, and you can see this. So it should be rare, all this species should be supported, all these things should be got, an important ground for fishing, spawning. So if you have all this, if you have any of this thing, definitely you can see the national authority of the contracting party of the Ramsar site, you can apply this, can designate it as a Ramsar site. So that is the concept of Ramsar, and 9 criteria must be met. And also you should take an important point, you should take a point. There is also something called as a Ramsar Secretariat. The Ramsar Convention Secretariat provides guidance and support to contracting parties on implementation of the convention. So it is the convention, the Secretariat of Ramsar is enabling, supporting the contracting party authority on deciding Ramsar. So the Secretariat also plays a very important. And what is RSIS? Take a very good idea. What is RSIS? Is an online database that provides detailed information on all Ramsar sites around the world. This can also be a prelim statement. What is RSIS? RSIS has an online portal, has all the Ramsar sites around the world. So get it right. So yes, that was some of the major important things about Ramsar. And take a close look at why this topic is in the news, because I took this because Environment Ministers has added this. 82 was the count and now it is 85. 3 more wetlands have been added. Which are they? See, I am not asking you to remember all the 85 Ramsar sites. It's very difficult to remember all the Ramsar sites, but make an idea which are the most important one. So take a look at this. This is the Nanjarayan Bird Sanctuary. You can see the Nanjarayan Bird Sanctuary in Tamil Nadu, the Karuveli Bird Sanctuary again in Tamil Nadu, and the Tava Reservoir in Madhya Pradesh. So 2 of them in Tamil Nadu, the Nanjarayan Bird Sanctuary and the Karuveli Bird Sanctuary and the Tava Reservoir. So next is, I'm not going to tell you in much detail about all those concepts, but I'll definitely make sure you get some idea. See, I'm going to tell you Nanjarayan, Karuveli and Tava because this is very, very typical prelims questions. Expect this question because birds and biodiversity is a very classic question for UPSC. That's why I'm spending a lot of time on Ramsar and the different species that you should be knowing. Here you go. Sometimes they can ask a question like this. So which of the following birds are found in India? So it's very important. You cannot remember 20,000 birds. But the only thing is focus on the birds that are in the current affairs and try to, not remember it, recollect it. So take an example. The northern shoveler. Definitely. So northern shoveler is something that in India, that is why it is in Nanjarayan. And the bar-headed goose. And you can, let me take this a bit up. And you can see the spot-billed pelican. It is the spot-billed pelican. You can say spot-billed pelican and you can see heron. It's something called heron. So shoveler, goose, spot-billed pelican and heron are all found here. That is something that you can see here. So these are in Nanjarayan, and in the Karuveli itself, take a look at these You have Eurasian coot. Eurasian coot is in India, definitely. Painted stork. I think this is a previous year question also. Black, you can take black-headed ibis. Flamingo, definitely you know what is a flamingo. So the coot, the stork, the ibis, the flamingo, all of them can be found in this place. And next, take a look at this. The Tawa Reservoir is something that you should take a look at this. And let's start doing it. So this is the Tawa Reservoir. You can see deer in Tawa Reservoir, painted stork again, and river tern. Very, very important. This is something called river tern. This is also a bird. River tern is also important. River tern is also in India. So right now I've given you some names which should be important. What if they ask which of them are found in India? At least you can remember all these things that they are definitely found in India. So get this, and also understand this Tawa Reservoir is located inside the Satpura Tiger Reserve. Very important point. Satpura National Park and the Bori Wildlife Sanctuary, it's in Madhya Pradesh. So Satpura National Park and Bori Wildlife Sanctuary, remember two important things. And it is actually, Tawa Reservoir has been constructed at the confluence of the Tawa and the Denva rivers. River Malni, Sonbhadra and Nagdwari. Nagdwari are the major tributaries of Tawa. Tawa might not be important, but still have an idea. But Tawa is a left bank tributary originating from the Mahadev Hills in Chhindwara district of the Betul districts of the Narmada river. It is the longest tributary of river Narmada. That is important. This can be an important question for geography. You know, it is if you can remember Tawa and Malni, Sonabhadra, Nagdwari are Tawa. Here you can remember about Narmada is very, very important here. So know this. Such questions often appear in the prelim statement. So these are some of the important things, and let's take a look at this. And before we move on to the next important last topic of this wetlands, is you should know why wetlands are important. This is a classic prelims question. They can ask you which of the following are the functions of wetland. They act as water purifying, very important. They act as natural filters. It controls the flood. It acts as sponges. It takes the water. It absorbs the excess water during floods. And it is helpful for groundwater recharge. It can replenish groundwater. And it is also helpful for shoreline stabilization. It protects the shoreline from erosion, buffering wave action, and trapping sediments, and carbon sequestration. It can store large amounts of carbon to help climate change. So remember, it can water purification, flood control, sponge, groundwater replenishing, shoreline stabilization against the wave action, carbon sequestration against the climate change. All this are one of the important aspects of wetlands. Expect such things for prelims and also for mains. Be ready to write down these points also. So these are some of the important topic regarding this. And let me ask you one important question. Where is Renuka wetland? Wow, what a beautiful wetland this is. If you want to know, please find it out. Find it out where Renuka wetland is. You must be knowing about the Chilka Lake and the Kielodiu. So this time, Kibullamaju, where is Renuka wetland? Named after the Renuka goddess. Find it out. This is how they can ask questions in the prelims also. Okay, here we go. Let's take the mains question. Discuss the ecological significance of wetlands in India. Analyze the major threats they face and suggest measures for their conservation and sustainable management. You can write this question, I'm sure. You can write this question for the mains, and here we go to the other important topic of dengue all. What is this concept of dengue all? So you must be, it's a very quick topic. I'll take it very quickly. What is this dengue all? You know about dengue fever. You know how deadly the dengue fever is. And in this context, what is dengue fever? What is dengue all? And in a vaccination, especially in the trials, what is called a phase 3 trial? Every now and then, when after the COVID, we have been discussing about the phase 3 trial is happening. What exactly is this phase 3 trial? And what is tetravalence in dengue? They say the dengue vaccine is a tetravalent vaccine. Why do you say it is a tetravalent vaccine? So you should know that the ICMR and the biotech initiate the first dengue vaccine. And that first dengue vaccine you can see is dengue all. It's dengue all. So let's discuss this in detail. What is this vaccine in detail? And this is dengue. Indian Council of Medical Research and the Panacea Biotech have initiated the first phase 3 of the clinical trial of dengue 3. What is this clinical trial? It's important. Every now and then it is in the newspaper. We should know that. And dengue, all India's first indigenous tetravalent dengue vaccine. What is this tetravalent? Why do you call it tetravalent? So this is the tetravalent, the first indigenous made dengue all the vaccine. You should be knowing this. And do you think dengue spreads from human to human? So question they can ask this in prelims also. Can it be spread from me to you? Is something that you have to discuss also. So now let's take a look at the important points. Here we go. The dengue is a significant public health issue in India. You know that dengue is very serious, and you need to prevent again all 4 serotypes prevalent in India. So there are 4 strains. Tetravalent means there are 4 important serotypes or 4 important strains of dengue virus. Tetravalent dengue vaccine strain was originally developed in USA, but there are 4 strains. Please remember the 4 strains are also very important to be remembered here. And now let's understand here. Dengue, let's go to this and yes, here we go. Let's understand this concept in detail. So dengue is a mosquito-borne viral disease. You know that in very clear. Prevalent in tropical and subtropical regions. Also very important. Tropical and subtropical region is very popular. And it's transmitted to humans through the bite of the infected, the Aedes mosquitoes, primarily Aedes aegypti. The Aedes aegypti is actually spreading this. Dengue is not contagious and cannot be spread directly from person to person. So normal cases, in exceptional normal cases in all regions, it is very difficult. It does not spread from person to person. But it transmitted through the bite of an infected mosquito. So there is also one more important thing that you should be knowing. It is not transmitting, but definitely you should be knowing this. There are some chances how it can actually spread from humans. Normal causes, you say that if the Egypti, the insect, the mosquito has actually, it bites the human, the person is infected with dengue, and this mosquito again transmits to other people. But some chances how it can spread from human to human is maybe mother to child transmission. When she is pregnant, it can happen. And blood transfusion and organ transplant, there is a risk for that. And even laboratory exposure, like a small needle which is infected with another person's can be pricked, maybe that can also cause it. And sometimes it also travels through breast milk. So this is some chances how it can spread from humans also. Maybe just to have an idea, we are just having an idea about this thing. So you know about this thing. And now let's understand what is this concept of tetravalence in the context of dengue vaccine. That means this tetravalent vaccine is designed to protect against all 4 serotypes, very, very important, or strains of the dengue virus. It protects everything. Like 4 distinct serotypes, it's the DEN1, DNV2, the DNV3 and the DNV4. These are the important strains of the dengue. The vaccine is ready for all. And so this is the important point that you should be remembering here at this. And now let's take at the, and what is a phase 3 trial? Normally everybody calls the phase 3 trial is because, please understand, it's a crucial stage after phase 1 and phase 2. Imagine that you're buying a new car, the phase 3. Imagine vaccine is like a new car model. Before it's sold to everybody, let's take an idea before this. It's a small car. Like you have a small car which is actually bought here. So before this is my car. So you imagine that you have got a car. Before you sell this car, you are testing this. Various things, the parts, how the car is working. So there is trial 1 and 2, trial number 1, trial number 2. But the phase 3 trial is very, very important. It is the final and the biggest test before the car hits the market. Before you take this car into the market, you will definitely make sure this is, the third is the most biggest one that you can remember. So you can take a look at this. Phase 1 means small group of healthy volunteers. Second phase means small group of people with disease or a condition. And the phase 3, you can take a look at this. The phase 3 means larger and diverse group within a disease, or it spreads to larger group. So that is the phase 3 that you should be knowing here. That is the phase 3 which is here. It is the biggest test before that. So what is phase 3 trials? Get this idea in clear. Lots of thousands of people participate representing diverse population like different age, health conditions, etc. The vaccine is tested in real life condition not in lab environment. They take it to the people. And some people get the new vaccine, others get an existing vaccine or a placebo dummy injection of see if the new one is better. So phase 3 means it's a larger audience, lots of thousands of people participate in the phase 3 trials. So next time when you see a phase 3 trials, have a good idea and know about what is this phase 3. So take a quick question from this. Critically examine the challenges in developing and deploying an effective dengue vaccine in the country. Also discuss the potential impact of such vaccine on public health and the economy. So that's a very interesting question. You should write about public health and also the economy also. So I think you can write this question, and let's move on to the next important topic. Let's set what is PM Shabd? A very important concept. Have you heard about PM Shabd? Just like the Doordarshan logo, you can say this. A comprehensive news sharing service is PM Shabd. Prasar Bharatis is the most important thing. What is this PM Shabd delivering? So you must have heard about when you have a news channel. I'm sure you must have had this. See, imagine that you have a news channel called X, and you have different reporters across this country, whether you are a national media or a state media. Imagine you're a national media. You have correspondents, hundreds of correspondents across the country, and some even in different parts of the country, like America. You can have in the US, you can have it in France, Paris. All of them gives important news, data, visuals, the live visuals, videos through that. Imagine that you are a small media company. Let's take an example. Let's take this example in detail and understand. Imagine our favorite Rajeshwar Bhai is actually starting a news channel. He's having a small news channel completely made in green screen, very low budget. So how will Rajeshwar Bhai benefit from PB Shabd or Prasar Bharati Shabd is that we have to understand. How will Mr. Rajeshwar Bhai, how will Rajeshwar Bhai benefit from PM Shabd? He has only a small channel with a small budget. He does not have many correspondents, but he runs a small channel. Let's understand how it will actually benefit Rajeshwar Bhai is how I'll tell you. See, first of all, the channel like Rajeshwar Bhai have only limited resources. So PM Shabd provides them with ready to use high quality news content in various formats, helping them enrich. They will, in PM Shabd, you can get high quality visuals. Whatever news happens, PM Shabd has got hundreds and thousands, maybe over thousands of reporters across the country who will record all this. You can take this, most important, without logo. You can take this through PM Shabd, PB Shabd and use it. So it also, apart from the high quality news content, it is often, more than 50 plus languages are also there. You can get it in different languages, reports, etc. The most important, the most credible reports, enabling regional media outlets to action national level news in their own language, contributing to more informed media. See, you're running it in Telugu or you're running it in Marathi. You're getting English news. What happens is you have to translate this. So Rajeshwar Bhai does not have time for that. Rajeshwar Bhai is depending on PB Shabd. He is getting in his own language. Wow. News, videos, pictures, data, everything is now with PB Shabd. That is something really good. So that is all about PB Shabd. And let's take another important thing. Ultimately, you can take a look at this. Ultimately, what happens is the public benefits from having access to more diverse news source. So they can also play a role in promoting, even the citizens can take this. If you're registered, you can also take this. So PB Shabd means more than 1,500 reporters, correspondents and stringers, supported by 60 dedicated edit desks operating round the clock. PB Shabd offers the latest news from every corner of India. So you get all those wonderful insights in this. It's very good, right? And you can take a quick look at it. It's launched in 2024, March 13. And it's provide media organization with daily news feeds. It's available in video, audio, text and photos are also there. And it also takes the network of Akashvani and Doordarshan and multiple Indian languages. Currently, you can see free or registered Indian news and media organization until September 2024 can access it. You can register it. And one important thing is the contents can be used freely but cannot be edited or altered to change the context. Misusing for trolling and defamation is not allowed. So you cannot use this for troll, memes. You can only edit it. You cannot edit it for changing the context. Do not use it for trolls, memes, Defamation is not acceptable. Very, very important points regarding this. So know this content and maybe get an important idea regarding this. The content provided through PB Shop, there's a logo free, no credit is required to use this. So sometimes when you take and use the Rajya Sabha TV or Sunset TVs, there is no logo here. Additionally, the service includes live feed feature, offering exclusive coverage like national award ceremonies from Rashtrapati Bhavan, election rally, political events, various press briefings, all without the logo of the government. Wow. Now channels can use it freely. To further access, there is a media repository being created. You can developed as an archival. You can also take footages from Doordarshan and Akashvani libraries. Wow, that is also good. You can even put Nehru's video or Gandhiji's video from Akashvani or Doordarshan archives. Fantastic idea. So PB Shabd is a great thing in developing. So that is all regarding. So PB Shabd, a boon or bane for Indian media landscape. Critically examine its potential to enhance news access and diversity while addressing the challenges it poses to media pluralism and ethical content. A bit important question that you have to answer with caution. There are a lot of things, like take a look at this question. Whether it is boon or bane, and you have to critically examine the potential to enhance news access and challenges it poses to media pluralism and ethical content. Very important content, write it from that perspective. So that is very important thing. And let's move on to other important content here. Most probably we'll end off with this important concept called bioeconomy. So let's understand in this content, what is this bioeconomy? We'll actually have an idea regarding what is this bioeconomy. So it is even said, bioeconomy, you must have heard about blue economy, different type of economy. What is this concept of bioeconomy? A very classical mains question that you should write it for 2 pages or 3 pages, or they can even ask about the prelims, which of the following features are correct about bioeconomy. And the minister says next industrial revolution will be bioeconomy driven. That makes this very, very important for UPSC. The next industrial revolution will be bioeconomy driven. So this will be a last topic of this day, and I'm sure you must be writing and learning it. And let's quickly go and learn the important content and finish off this. So what is this bioeconomy? Let me give you an example. Let's take an example like this. See, imagine you have a garden like this, where you grow your vegetables, fruits, flowers, etc. And on one portion of the garden, you have a compost pile where you put in your kitchen scraps, yard waste, etc. The bioeconomy is like turning your garden into business. See, this is something that many people have. You grow your vegetables, fruits, and on the other side you put your waste, you have a compost pit, you treat that waste. So what if I tell you that this garden can turn out to be a business? You use your flowers to create oil. You use the tomatoes that is grown in this farm to create tomato sauce, and you use the compost pit. You put the dumping waste, you create energy out of that and use it to make things. That will be awesome, right? This is bioeconomy. So simple terms, whatever there is in your backyard, whatever you're creating from the bioeconomy means from flowers, vegetables, whatever there is that is inside or that is around us, you use that to create different products, energy, pharmaceuticals, and use them. Then the production of all this grows. So I'll give you a small idea like this. So let's take a look at this and move on to the So what is bioeconomy? Take a quick look at this. Instead of relying on things that will run out, like the usual oil, bioeconomy can use things that grow back, like plants in your garden. Turning your tomato into sauce, your flowers into oils, and even the compost to generate energy. That's bioeconomy, finding creative ways to turn natural resources into useful things. So the bioeconomy is not just about food. It's about medicines, it's about plants, it's about biofuel, it's from eco-friendly plastic made from corn, everything. So everything means everything. So please understand a small thing that I wanted to tell you regarding this is, imagine that, take a look at this. I'm just quickly finishing off. So take a quick look at it. See, this is your garden. You're using your garden, or you're using your garden of things. You're producing energy from the waste, and you're producing oil from the flowers, etc. And you're creating, with the some of the plants that you just grew, you're creating a new medicine. That means biopharma. And all of this has created new market. That means everybody has started this. So there will be a market for the energy, bioenergy. There will be a market for the oil. There will be a market for the medicines. When this thing grows, a lot of people will buy this. So when people buy, they spend money, and money will be generated, and this money is important, and that is how it becomes a business. And when it becomes business, it becomes an economy. So that is how bioeconomy is actually here. So understand this thing and very clear. So this is the example of bioeconomy. And now let's quickly take why bioeconomy is important. Take a look at this. Bioenergy. You can produce biofuels like from ethanol, biodiesel, from crops like sugarcane, algae, etc. And you can even make bio-based material like development of bioplastics, like chemicals and other materials from renewable energies like plant starch, cellulose, or even algae. So this is also, just imagine, you can create bioenergy, that is what I said, create ethanol and biodiesel from corn, algae, and even bioplastics from cellulose, starch, and algae. Bioplastic, bioenergy is something that has come here. And next, take a look at the other important aspects is something that is coming as biopharmaceuticals. Utilizing, microorganism or plant-based compounds to produce medicines like this. Biopharma is a fantastic, large developing area. And also sustainable agriculture and practices. So you can create for that. And something called bioremediation, very, very important. It is something called as bioremediation. What is bioremediation? You should know this bioremediation for your prelims also. What is the concept of bioremediation? It is using microorganisms or plants to clean up polluted environments in a natural and sustainable way. You use microorganisms or plants to clean up polluted environments. This is bioremediation. So take a look at this. These are some of the important contents of this. Just remember, bioenergy, bioproducts, biopharma, sustainable agriculture, bioremediation, you can use all of this is basically bioeconomy. And before we end this, let's discuss some of the important benefits. It's very important. Quickly take, very important, reduce reliance on fossil fuels. You are cutting down entire fossil fuels, petroleum, oil, crude, all related stuff is delete. Sustainable resource management. You are using whatever there is in our backyard. Whatever there is, everything bio, we are using that. You can create more economic job and growth. Definitely, it's a new business model. More innovation and technology will come in. Environmental and health benefits. Definitely, it's more eco-friendly. So these are some of the important benefits of bioeconomy. And at the same time, what are some of the challenges? You should also take a look at the challenges. Bioproduction means bio-based production. You should not compromise food production and availability. Doesn't mean that, there is this much of production. You use entire of that to, create bioeconomy. No, you should not compromise our normal food production. And ensuring that biomass is sourced sustainably without causing all the things that you created should not come from deforestation. That is also a challenge. And it needs a lot of R&D, money. That is also very important. And educate consumers. People should know about the bio-based products. People should create awareness. You should create awareness, and your government should actually come up with good policies. So all these things could not compromise food, deforestation, no. Spend more in R&D and awareness and good policies from the government. So these are some of the important contents that we have just come up. And going for the mains question, the bioeconomy presents a promising avenue for India to achieve sustainable development goals. Critically evaluate the statement highlighting the opportunities, constraints, and policy imperatives for a bioeconomy in India. So you'll have to write about all these concepts like, first of all, critically evaluate the statement that it is a promising for India's sustainable development goals, SDG, number one, and highlight the opportunities, one, constraints, two, policy imperative, three important things. That means your answer is perfect. So I think now we have almost come to the end of today's session, today's live. Please watch this session, take down points, and try to write all the mains questions. And I'll come up with the next current affairs class number 4 in few days. Until then, prepare more, follow IAS Factor, subscribe our channel, follow us in YouTube, and download IAS Factor app. Thank you. Have a great good night. Prepare well, study well for UPSC. Bye. Take care.